Yeah, so we interrupt this one to have a bit of an adventure. So back onto, what do you call that? Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace. What a great resource. That's where that van there came from. So yesterday I found on Marketplace, or the day before, yeah, yesterday. Day before yesterday I found on Marketplace another little car that I'll go and get. And turns out the guy needs to have, he wants a tractor. And I've got this little tractor here that's been sitting here doing nothing. So it should go to a good home, and then I get another car. Well, that's a bargain. So the trick is to see if this thing will, been sitting here all winter, right? See if it'll go. I'll just give it a crank and see what happens. So with this, down here, there's a key way down here, and you turn it backwards and count to 20 or so. It's got half a tank of fuel. And these things, like this has been sitting now for how long? 3 or 4 months, anyhow, since I used it. And you put the clutch in all the way. Away it goes. Then I turn the key backwards again to get the glow plugs warmed up. There we are. And there. That's what matters. Wow, how do you like that? I'll let it sit and warm up for a while. No power steering in this one. There it runs, it sounds good. Nice little diesel motor, 3-cylinder with a diesel. Anyhow, but there's a couple of things about this that the new owner might want to know. This was added on afterwards to make the, what do you call that? This is where it gets power for the loader. The loader was an aftermarket thing. It's actually pretty solid. In here, excuse me. In there's a little valve. If you ever run it out of fuel, here's the, oh man, knees. There's the fuel filter right there. If you ever run it out of fuel, there's a thing in there to make it so that you can bleed it or get it primed properly. That's the shut off for when you want to shut it off. You pull out that, turn off the key. PTO's got a 4-speed PTO on it, which is kind of interesting. That's the engage for 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive. And this button down here, that's the lock up for the back wheels, so that it'll lock the back wheels. Now, I took that little piece of metal off here because the 3-point hitch isn't working, and I wanted to get into that lever here, but it didn't seem to do any good for me. Underneath the seat is, it's just normal. There's a seat belt and a ROPS. My wife wouldn't let me drive it without ROPS on it. And back here is the 3-point hitch. And if the 3-point hitch is working properly, it's got this auto leveler on it, which is kind of a cool thing. Otherwise, it's, it's a standard. So this one here is what they call a shuttle drive. This is like low. Put it in first here and first on that. The 4-speed there. Or 4-speed down there. That's the throttle. This has forward or backwards. So put it in low here and low there, and it just moves at about 1 inch an hour. I only ever run it up into 3rd, because if you run it in 4th gear here, if you ran it in 4th gear and 4th gear there, It'll rattle your head off. And so, runs pretty good. You have to keep an eye down here at the level for the fluid in the front end, which leaks. So you got to keep an eye on that. Otherwise, it all works really well. There's no trouble with it. It goes. I'll pull it out here after a while, let it warm up for a bit. So what I'm going to do is, later on today, pull that trailer out of there and unload the Volkswagen. Then I'll load up the tractor onto that trailer. Well, I got the truck borrowed to go across the way. I'll get the tractor on it and away we'll go over to New Brunswick. Anyway, there's an adventure. There, it's warmed up. After a while it idles back down to this speed here. Once it's warmed up. So I'll just move it ahead out of here and see what happens. Fourth gear on this one, third gear on that one, forward on that one, away it goes. Never know it hasn't been run for a long time. There we are. So it's a Sunshine L1-20, which is a, what do you call it? It's a Japanese gray model tractor, they call them. It's pretty near exactly the same as far as controls go and everything as a new tractor in there, which is, you know, only 40 years newer. But everything else is the same. All the controls work the same, even right down to the signal lights on it. So they don't change anything. The seat's even the same. Anyhow, pretty good little tractor. Fuel injected, mechanical injection on it, and like all the headlights work and stuff like that. So there's headlights on. All that kind of stuff goes, and the blinkers. I think this side blinks. That side does nothing. Can't have everything. And then the even the horn works, and the new tractor doesn't have a horn. Oh well. There you go. That's kind of an intro to this thing. Yeah, there's the little L120, and this is an L250, this one here. So this one here is only 40 years newer than that one there. 1980 variety, thereabouts. And the only way I'd be able to determine that is the manufacture date on the tires is 1980. All the instructions and everything are in Japanese. So you think, wow, they're easy to run. And they're basically the same thing, like it's exactly the same motor in that tractor, exactly the same motor in that tractor as there is in this tractor, which is just amazing. That's how durable the design is. And like it fills up, the gas tank fills up on top there. The only difference is the exhaust pipe goes out top of this one and comes out underneath on that one. So there's no, it's amazing how similar they are. Everything is, this one here is hydrostatic drive, which is different. But all the, like there's the signal lights and all that kind of stuff. Key is exactly the same key. Everything's exactly the same for operating it. So anyway, it'll go to a new home and a happy home, I hope. It's been a good tractor for me for about 20 years.